believe this, a wild night around the NBA. 2 buzzer beaters, one by Emmanuel Quickley over the Charlotte Hornets, and then Paolo Banchero for the Orlando Magic over the Brooklyn Nets. It was a night that saw Trae Young get traded from the Atlanta Hawks to the Washington Wizards for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. But what was most wild of all, the most unbelievable moment of the NBA last night, the New York Knicks gave 48 minutes of effort, and they won a basketball game. Wow, what a combination. Effort means wins when you're good. Yeah, what a formula. Looks like the Knicks are getting back to their old winning ways, old prideful, caring about your job ways, no excuses ways, next man up ways. And they were able to defeat the Los Angeles Clippers, a Clippers team that won 7 out of 8 coming into Madison Square Garden. So don't look at their record. Look at how they've been playing lately, and look how we've been playing lately. Last night was a good win, a team win, one of the better team wins of the season, if you ask me. And I'm going to talk about everybody who contributed to the victory. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Poppa Left. I am the host of Your Knicks. Make sure you leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel so we can get this content out to Knicks fans like you. I want to skip ahead in this game, and I want to jump to a couple moments. First quarter, Knicks go down 14-5. The whole world of Knicks Nation is starting to panic. Here we go again. And that did not include me. I loved what I saw in the opening minutes of this game. The ball was moving. The process was exactly how the Knicks want to play basketball. Did they get results? No. But their process was much better from anything I saw in the last 3 games. I'm taking the San Antonio game and I'm moving it off to an island because we actually played pretty decent in that game, but we just got bit on the road with, a ferocious comeback by a really good team. But the Hawks game, the Sixers game, the Pistons game, that was not Knicks basketball. That was not anything that represents New York across the chest. And I just felt like we came out with a much better process. The ball was zipping around the perimeter. We just didn't hit shots. And the thing is, not hitting shots is not an excuse for a 48-minute game. That's an excuse for like a 2-minute, 3-minute stretch. And I thought Mike Brown had 2 amazing timeouts in last night's game. The first one coming at 14-5. The Knicks come out of that timeout. They go on an 8-0 run. They cut the game to 14-13. That's huge because that gives yourself a sense of belief. It reminds the team that, hey, right now we're doing everything we want to do. Stay with it. Stay with the process. Make sure you're continuing to do this. Maybe make a couple tweaks here. Get a body on this player over here. Box out over here. Make sure you're aware of this player over here and keep playing your game. Then the Knicks found themselves down 37-30 at the beginning of the second quarter. Mike Brown calls another timeout. The Knicks come out of that timeout, 6-0 run. So that shows me that this is a team that is responding to the messaging of their head coach, and they are staying connected through adversity. And, I've been searching over the last week or so to find some positives from this team without any wins, without any real good basketball that I could say this is a team I believe in. And the one thing that I can say is that it is better to go through a bad stretch of basketball or your real adversity earlier on in the season than it is to get it right before the playoffs or even in the playoffs. You've seen teams walk into the playoffs with so much mystique, and then they look vulnerable. They look like they bleed just like us. Shout out to Biggie. And all of a sudden, they start floundering. They don't know what to do. And I think the Knicks really went through that where they started second-guessing everything that they do. And they reverted back to their old habits, which is isolation basketball. And that leaked into sulking faces, guys upset they didn't touch the basketball. And, I'll get into a little bit of that later with Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson and the little, growing dynamic of maybe possibly a rift there between our 2 all-stars. But I really did think that Mike Brown did a great job early on in this game and calling timeouts, stopping the scoreboard bleeding, but reminding the team that, hey, we're playing fine. We just got to keep giving this effort over the next couple minutes and winning a part of the game so we can get it back into a manageable score. And they never let go of the rope. The Knicks actually tied the game at 51 at some point in the second quarter. And I thought Tyler Kolek did a great job of his role jumping in for Jalen Brunson at the beginning of the second quarter. And I loved his physicality on the defensive side of the basketball. You know, a lot of times a player will pick up a foul 35, 40 feet away from the basket, and people will be like, that's a silly foul. For the Knicks, I welcome all physicality. I welcome all silly fouls. At this point, I'm welcoming, force the referees to make a call. Please show that you have any type of level of, I'm going to make you turn your body with the basketball. Make sure you're getting into the dribble. Like the Knicks sometimes just stand there and watch the person at the point of attack. And if they're not getting blown by, they're just standing there and watching somebody set up their offense. At least Tyler Kolek he got a foul on Kawhi Leonard where I was just like, good. So I didn't even think Deuce McBride shouted out. He shouted out Tyler Kolek, who was mic'd up. I didn't get a chance to watch the entire mic'd up situation, but the Knicks went into the half. I think they were down 5 points at half. They come out in the second half, and there were two big plays in the second half that defeat the whole, we didn't make shots, so we didn't have energy. It's nonsense. You are a New York Knick. You represent me. After this video is done, I'm closing my laptop. I'm saving it so I can upload it at work, but I'm going to work. I have to do this, go to work, manage my life, manage my personal life, go home, do all this, give passion and entertainment and content to the Knicks fans. Hear that I'm a loser on the timeline for my honest opinions. Be told all these types of things and manage all of it and go back to work every single day, because that's what a New Yorker does. When tragedy strikes, we don't go in a hole. We go back outside and we do what we got to do. The New York Knicks, they got to take some pride in New York across the chest. Stop telling me that you don't know how to play when your shot's not falling, because here is a case in point example of how that is nonsense. At 66-61, Karl Anthony Towns misses a free throw. Miles McBride swoops in from the perimeter, grabs the rebound, kicks it out to Karl Anthony Towns. He swings the pass to Jalen Brunson, who hits a three. All of a sudden, it's a one-possession game. 68-64. OG Anunoby fights for an offensive rebound, tips it out to Mikal Bridges, sprays it across the court. OG Anunoby now magically is in rhythm, and he hits a shot. Yay! Sometimes when you have a passion for something, good things happen. Sometimes when you give in energy, energy comes back to you. Stop overcomplicating things like you're Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, because none of you are. But the one thing that you are is you are physically imposing, talented basketball players. When you play as a unit and you have a passion and a nose for the basketball, good things will happen. That's the game plan. Most nights, when two teams want to do the same thing, which is kill each other, you have to want it. That's like basic prerequisite requirement to winning a basketball game. And over the last 3 nights, we've overcomplicated things, looked at the personnel, and I got to the Pistons game. I wasn't even wasting my time because there was nothing to evaluate. Finally, the Knicks give a little bit of effort. Finally, they decide, hey, I want to get this loose ball. I want to match up on this star. OG Anunoby shut down Kawhi Leonard from that point on. And then the team wanted to play together as a team because the ball's touching everybody's hands. And nobody on this team without a championship, in my experience, I got to read 1973 over the timeline, nobody on this team is above reproach or criticism. Stop it, Knicks Nation. We need to be the best we can be so we can end this curse. Unless you want a favorite player with no rings. Because what we saw against Detroit was individual basketball and hero ball, and all of a sudden, when the ball's swinging around, everybody eats. That shouldn't be uncomfortable to realize. It's a good thing. Sometimes, I had a student once come to me and tell me, I got a 68 on my test. I want to make my dad proud, and I'm upset. He was crying. I said, first of all, did you even give the effort to get 100? Because right now you're crying to me because of the result, but I know you. You're a smart kid. So you getting a 68, that's a wake-up call. You didn't study hard enough. That's number one. Number two, if you got 100 on that test, you would come smile back to me and you wouldn't learn anything. I didn't scream at the kid. But I told him sternly, you didn't learn anything. I'll tell you what you did learn from: the pain of getting a 68 and looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, that is not my best. I have to do better. Sometimes when you're winning and you're successful in life, I mean, the lady who wrote the Harry Potter books, J.K. Rowling, told a bunch of geniuses at Harvard, you don't know nothing. All you know is how to succeed. Sometimes you have to recognize failure. And all of these people on the timeline, I don't care who they are, I'm being very nice about it. But if you are not going to be a Knick fan in 20 years, don't police me how to fan, please. If you have a relationship with a player, or if you are a columnist and you got a relationship with a player or an agent, and you're trying to tell me how to fan, and, oh, where are y'all at? Y'all still mad? Yeah, I want to see us win. And we're not winning because we're not giving good energy. So when you tell me keep that same energy, it's because, why would I? Because the team that I kept the energy for was a team that laid down and died and wasn't the best version of itself. Now tonight, they are doing the absolute opposite of that, and they started to get results because of what we demand. Do you want a friend that is going to demand less of you or more of you? The New York Knicks fan is a good friend. Get in your face. Sometimes it gets a little overboard. You'll take that. You'll take that. I promise you. Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, who got headbutt by Tyler Kolek. It looked like the most physicality he's absorbed in his life. We want you to be the best versions of yourself because we want to experience this with you. We'll do all that we can. Listen. You play with a fraction of that energy, you're going to win 60 games and coast. So the Knicks started to get a nose for the ball in the third quarter. Magically, the team starts to erupt together. Yabusele's hitting shots. Clarkson's getting shots. Fourth quarter starts. Tyler Kolek turns into Tyler Stockton. Shout out to Uncle Raw. And all of a sudden, this team learns how to win a basketball. And you know what? Tired of the style points. Forget it. Maybe the conversation of MVP and the conversation of all-stars distracted this team. You're the New York Knicks. Don't ever forget that. You play for us. Yes, you play for your own legacy. You play for your family. You play for a job. But at the end of the day, the game doesn't exist in an empty gym. You play for us. And we will root for you no matter what. And ain't nobody going to tell me how to fan. Not a damn person on this planet going to tell me how to fan. I watched a two-man game of Clarence Weatherspoon and Othello Harrington, block to block. And I'll watch whatever they put on the floor in 20 years, as long as I'm living. Don't tell me how to fan when I want my team to do the best that they can do. Don't tell me I'm negative. That's the effort I wanted when I was criticizing the effort the last 3 nights. I just wanted you to have a nose for the basketball. Meanwhile, Trae Young, the second that his team decides to have a winning level of basketball, he cries and leaves and asks out of Atlanta. That's our villain. Screw him. Enjoy Washington and win as many basketball games as you can. It's a crazy NBA, and it's going to get even wilder, and you need to stay tuned to the YORK Knicks podcast. You need a like, you need a comment, you need to subscribe, you need to get involved, you need to share it, you need to make sure that the whole world is tuned in, because over the next month in the NBA, it's going to get wilder and crazier and more suspenseful. Guys are starting to look around their shoulders. Jobs are starting to close in. The records are starting to become more defined. And shout out to the Knicks for last night putting an end to a really disgusting level of basketball that they were playing. And maybe they can learn that they're not a 68 and they are an A+ team. check out the rest of my videos. This is your Knicks.